Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 7 of Drawing About the G-Men, the Giants football podcast. I'm Jace Garcia, joined, like always, by Sean Scanlon and Joe Aguirre. Let's dive right in. I mean, the Patriots. The Giants went to the Patriots. Thursday night football. It was looking good.
What did you think was going to happen? Why don't you preview? Why don't we go back for a minute to what you said last week?
All right. I mean, I picked them to win. I pick with my heart, not my head. Like I've been saying. I said week 1 I'm going to pick the Giants to beat the Patriots. I was always going to do this.
You felt like a genius early, though, didn't you?
I did.
It was close.
Yes, the game was very close. Giants hung in there. Marcus Golden with the fumble recovery for a touchdown. It was all great. I was all hyped up. The one thing, though, like this game was, it got me really upset. Yeah, Giants got destroyed. Yeah, they got beat. But there was a lot of, like, stupid stuff going on with the refs. The refs this week in all of the NFL were terrible. The only real drive the Patriots had was off touch fouls. There was constant flags throwing. I mean, it felt like if any Giants receiver breathed on a wide receiver or anyone on the Patriots offense, it was a flag, and they were going back. The Patriots were getting yardage from that. And I mean, really the only Patriots scores came from the defense and then good field position. Off interceptions from Danny Dimes, who, I mean, didn't look that well. He's a rookie going up against the best defense in the National Football League right now. So, I mean...
And you bet on that. That's hilarious.
I mean,
you were like,
I'm still in the league.
Despite all of those things that I know to be true, I'm going with the Giants.
Yeah, I love the Giants. I mean... What am I going to do? And it was great. I love the game. It was an entertaining game. But the refs, it was just atrocious. I mean, we'll get into it when we get into picks, but all around the league last week, the refs were just terrible. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, the NFL came out with a statement and talking about it. But, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, the Giants also did look good. I mean, multiple 3-and-outs against the Tom Brady. That's great. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of promising moments for this Giants team. What'd you guys think of the game?
Yeah, if you were to tell me last week that the game would be a touchdown game with less than 8 minutes to go, I probably wouldn't believe you. I would say that you're crazy. But they were able to stay in this game. Defense played very well, especially in the situational plays, like 3rd and 4th down in the red zone. When it mattered the most, they got the stops and they got off the field to give the ball back to the offense, held them to a couple field goals. But on the offense, as we mentioned, Daniel Jones kind of had a rough day. But and I think that the one thing that we've seen so far, difference between Eli and Daniel Jones, obviously Daniel Jones gives you better mobility in the pocket. He's willing to push the ball downfield more than Eli is. But the one big difference, I think, is that he's holding on to the ball way too long in the pocket. If he sees something that's not there, he's just holding on, not throwing the ball out of bounds like a smart veteran would do. Eli would like to get the ball out quick. So none of this happens. And on the second touchdown, it showed he's in the pocket for 7 or 8 seconds. No one's getting separation downfield, and it gives the pass rush enough time. He gets hit on the elbow in the throw, and then it leads to a bad pass, which gets picked off. So I think that he needs to work on that, and that's just going to come with time. He's still a very young quarterback, but he definitely has to work on getting that ball out quicker. More about the offense, I think Golden Tate got in a good rhythm with Daniel Jones. After not being involved much at all against the Vikings, they got to use him a little bit more this week, and it helped that, I mean, a lot of the weapons weren't there. But it was good to see that. And the defense, like we said, looked very, very good. Alec Ogletree looked great in his return. He had 12 tackles, a sack, and 2 tackles for loss. Zoe Carter finally had his breakout game. He had the strip sack that led to the golden touchdown and another QB hit. So I think that the defense, as we mentioned throughout the couple weeks, the defense is just very young. You got to give them some time to click and get that chemistry together. And they've shown it so far. They only allowing 21 points to the Pats offense. They had the block punt, and then obviously the Hillman fumble that they brought back for a touchdown. So a lot of optimism going forward. I think, like we said, the defense is just going to continue to get better. And, once Daniel Jones gets his weapons back, I think that he'll be just fine.
If you would have told me before the game it was going to be 35-14. I would have been like, yeah, that sounds about right. The Patriots obviously are at a higher level than the Giants are. Mm-hmm. And I think we knew going in, Bill Belichick teams eat up rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. And this was no exception. Looking at Daniel Jones, 15 for 31, 161 yards, touchdown, 3 picks. It's about what Eli would have done. Now, current Eli, so don't love that. Don't love that. I love his confidence. I think you're right. I mean, he feels like he's got all day back there. He's almost overly confident, like a number 6 pick in the draft. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's acting like he was highly touted coming out of there. Here's another bungling move by the Giants, though. Jonathan Hillman is not an NFL quality running back. Jonathan Hillman should never, ever, ever, ever start a football game in the NFL. And there are lots of guys who are unemployed who could have done a much better job literally walking into the locker room off the streets from just a couple of days ago. I don't understand why they haven't done anything even before Wayne Gallman got hurt, why they didn't already start making some phone calls to get a professional, experienced run. I mean, you're trying to replace Saquon Barkley in this lineup, and I like Wayne Gallman Jr., but that is that you're going from an A+ to a C-, and then Jonathan Hillman's like an F. You're telling me that you can't find anybody else to come in and get some carries for the. I mean, you got a good offensive line.
I think that they were in a tough spot.
Unbelievable.
With just a short week, I don't think they had a lot of time to bring in a running back, learn all the offense in about 2 days, and then fly out to New England and expect them to do much. I think that's probably the reasoning behind it. But I do agree with you. You have to get some veteran in there that could at least put up a couple good runs against the Pats defense. There are a lot of names out there like Jay Ajayi. We just signed Buck Allen, luckily, this week. Yeah. He's a good receiving threat. But I think we should have done it the week before against the Vikings, which when we had the week to prepare them and give the running back some reps, I do agree with you. We should have probably brought someone in.
I thought, you brought it up a couple minutes ago, but Alec Ogletree, I was excited when the Giants picked him up. And he's been so underwhelming. And to see a really good game in his return, again, makes me optimistic because, I think what a young defense that's trying to learn, you need a good, captain. Like Antonio Pierce that's the kind of guy I want in the huddle.
Yeah, tone setter.
And in my mind, I want to believe that Alec Ogletree can be that guy. And then he plays like garbage week in and week out. And obviously he's been out, comes back, and has, I think, his best game as a Giant.
Yeah, definitely. Other than the 2-pick game against the Bears last year, probably definitely up there.
I think when you look at the overall, where this defense is at, there is a lot to be excited about. We were talking just before we went on here about the fact that the Giants are still somehow in the division.
Yeah.
And do have some pretty winnable games coming up. So, and Saquon coming back eventually. So who knows where things could be.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys stink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Going back to that Pats game, I mean, Jonathan Hillman had 11 carries. That's as many as Saquon had week 1 against the Cowboys. You can't be doing that. I think, I put a lot of blame. I put a lot of blame on the refs. You got to look at Pat Shurmur. The play calling in this game was not good. You look at third downs, him going for a slant and then also a 5-yard curl route, and Daniel Jones was eyeing the receiver the whole time, and you had Stephon Gilmore right there. He was the one covering it, and one ended up to a pick. I mean, you got to give, either you have to put in the offense or you got to give Daniel Jones a little bit of freedom to audible that, find something else, find Darius Slayton or something on the side who has a better matchup than Stephen Gilmore and Golden Tate. I mean, you got to be able to do something like that. You got to give some freedoms. And also, you don't have Saquon there. You don't have Gallman there. You can't be running the ball this much with Hillman and your fullback, Eli Penny. That's just absurd against a Patriots team, which, I mean, the first half, the Giants were in it. I mean, if Shermer would have let some go, who knows? If Shermer would have opened up the offense a lot more, who knows what could happen.
You're making a good point there, and it's a point I've been continuing to make all year, is Shermer.
Yeah.
You know, you had a game that you were somehow in, and take some chances. Do something. You know? The only way the Giants were going to beat the Patriots was, A, to play a perfect game, which they didn't.
No.
So already they were behind the 8 ball. But they had to have... Look, the Golden Tate, which I loved. That's so far my play of the year. And it makes me laugh to, you know, there were some people that didn't love that. There were people that didn't love that.
What, his little
he
thing
scored.
when he went to the end zone?
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing that his whole career.
There was people that didn't like that, and I thought, you know, the people that didn't like that are the same people that didn't like Odell Beckham on the Giants.
Yeah.
The same Giants fans that wanted Odell gone.
100%.
They don't like hot dog and wide receivers. But they've never broken off a 64-yard touchdown run. You don't know how cool that must be to be able to turn around and, you know? I mean, you've earned that right.
Yeah.
You've earned that right. I love bat flippers. You don't like it, then get me out.
Yeah, David Wilson, remember him, the back flipper?
Good Lord, yeah.
He was a beast.
All-timer.
But yeah, I think
That's what it's about.
Yeah, Showtime Tate. I mean, he comes out to play every week and he plays hard. And I mean, when he gets plays like that against the best defense in the league, trying to get some momentum back, I mean, you gotta show that you're there for a reason.
They gotta get the ball in his hands more. Yeah, they definitely. You know, these receivers are okay. You know, I mean, hopefully Sterling Shepard gets out of his fog.
That's a scary situation. Two concussions in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we've seen guys' careers end. You know, with successive concussions. So he's got to get that right. But I mean, this Giants receiving core pretty good. Mm-hmm. You know,
Slayton stepped up more than I thought he would have to this point too.
Again, you're playing a game where you're probably not going to beat the Patriots, and 11 carries for Hillman. Jones threw the ball 31 times and didn't complete a whole lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's not good. You know, I've been saying this a lot, that throw the score out the window a little bit. You know, you lost 35-14. And I know the game was closer than what that final score looks like, but these are games that if you're going to lose, you should get something out of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And I feel like, you know, when you've got Jones just throwing because you're losing, you're not really learning the playbook. You're not really, like, getting the offense in sync. If you're constantly running in desperation, I mean, you're losing. Run the playbook. Let the offense get used to running plays. I mean, again, this is a developmental year. This is what it's supposed to be. Take advantage of it. You know?
Yeah.
Don't fall behind and just start throwing the football. I mean, it's because you're going to lose anyway, and that's to your advantage. Look at those Dolphins throwing it left, right, and sideways. They don't want to win games.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the week prior to against the Vikings, the second half when the Giants came out, they had a big long possession. They changed up their offense due to the fact that Gallman got injured and they had Hillman and they had Penny. So their run game was just screens and that stuff. I would have liked to see that more in this game. Also, I mean, throwing the football isn't that bad. I think he could have gotten it done. But I think there's something in the playbook where Shermer just wants Daniel Jones to eye down one receiver or something. Or maybe it is Daniel Jones just eyeing down, not going through his read progressions in the pocket or... when he's dropping back. There's something up there because he does make questionable throws, and I think a lot of that is just rookie stuff. I mean, once he learns, once he develops, he'll get good with that. We're talking about Sterling Shepard. He did not play with a concussion. Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley and Gallman all looking pretty good. They might come back this week. Evan Ingram with the knee, Wayne Gallman with the concussion, and Saquon Barkley with the ankle. Things are still questionable with Sterling Shepard, especially after the back-to-back concussions. Jonathan Hillman did get waived along with Austin Walter, and Nate Stupar, him getting driven back into the punter for that.
Nate subpar.
That was just atrocious. But the Giants did re-sign both Benny Fowler and Alex Tanney, and they, as you mentioned earlier, Sean, they got Buck Allen, and they also had C.J. Anderson work out. So they chose Buck Allen over him. Now let's preview the game coming up this week. The Cardinals, the rookie QB matchup, Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones. This is a winnable game for the Giants. I mean, the Cardinals aren't the Patriots, you know? I am interested to see how the defense does with Kyler Murray because he is a mobile QB. That isn't something that the Giants have faced yet this year, so that should be interesting. David Johnson has looked like a beast. Not running the ball too much, but him out of the backfield catching the football has been good. And Larry Fitzgerald is Janoris Jenkins versus Larry Fitzgerald is a retirement home matchup, but we'll see who can dust off the cobwebs. And I really like the Cardinals defense. It's very underrated. The pass rush of Chandler Jones and Terrell Suggs, the offensive line is going to have some problems.
Yeah, it's definitely. I had that written down too. It's going to be a big test for Mike Remmers and Nate Solder. I said similar to the Vikings matchup with two great pass rushers, Everson Griffin and Daniel Hunter. They were in Daniel Jones' face all day. So it's definitely going to be a big test going against Chandler Jones and Terrell Suggs for them. They gotta come out with their A game for sure. And then you mentioned just trying to contain the mobility of Kyler Murray and David Johnson out of the backfield. Going to be another big test for this defense, but it looks to me like they're starting to improve every week. So hopefully we build on that into this week. And like you said, very winnable game that I think we should be able to pull out at home.
I have two quarterbacks on my fantasy team. One, Russell Wilson, possible league MVP. Number two is Kyler Murray. And I have decided to start Kyler Murray this week. And I'll tell you what, he's been a beast every single week this season. And the Cardinals are going to be good. They're going to be good because he is a really good quarterback. And their offense is really, really good. Larry Fitzgerald's having like a renaissance. It's been had some great games. Obviously, David Johnson, a great runner. This is a really good defense. I don't know. I mean, it's a winnable game for the Giants in that, that you're going up against a fellow rookie quarterback. But I think in all phases of the game, I think the Cardinals are slightly better than the Giants, literally in every department.
I don't know about that one.
I do.
The Giants O-line is definitely better. All
right.
A lot of places on the defense that are...
O-line? Where else? Yeah. What else you got? Where else?
I mean, their secondary is not... They get Patrick Peterson back, which will definitely help.
That'll help.
But as of right now, I think the Giants are better. Cardinals' defense, other than that pass rush, isn't that great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're gonna.
Same.
I think that they're gonna get exposed this week by Daniel Jones. Honestly, I think they're gonna come out and sling.
Come on, are you really?
Yeah,
you're falling for it too, huh?
I'm not falling for anything. I'm trusting with my eyes. Daniel Jones is a good prospect.
He's a great prospect.
He's gonna have a bounce back game.
Not. Again, let me tell you the difference between what Kyler Murray's been doing and what Daniel Jones has been doing. And I wouldn't normally know this, but I've been paying attention to Kyler Murray for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
He's lit it up every week. Every week. I mean, they put him in great position. He scores a lot of points. they rack up a lot of yards.
Yeah.
He's on what should statistically be a worse team than the Giants. But I don't see it that way. I think this team's progressing at a slightly better rate than the Giants.
See,
I do. I do. And listen, I love the Giants. I don't want to be like the negative Giant guy here.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But Kyler Murray's been unbelievable. He hasn't had any 15 for 31, 161 yard games. It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also
Right.
hasn't faced the Patriots defense with no weapons. So I
Touche.
think that has to do with it. But
I do. Hold up.
I do agree.
Ask you a question then, Sean. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you this straight up. You tell me.
Yep.
Let's say Evan Engram was in the game.
Yeah, he practiced fully today.
Let's say Saquon played in that game.
He also practiced.
Do you believe the Giants could beat the Patriots? Let's say the Giants get hot, win the NFC East, and come February of 2020, Giants Patriots. Do you think the Giants could win with all those guys back? Say it.
Are you saying last week or
No.
down the line?
I'm saying, could they win the Super Bowl against the Patriots if everybody was healthy?
I don't know what the teams. If everyone's healthy,
Everyone's healthy. Everyone's back and healthy, ready to go.
I'd probably say
Did the Giants
no.
win that Super Bowl?
Yeah.
In February 2020.
I thought they won with
Jason's
John
like,
Hill.
I got it written down.
No,
Hell yeah.
I don't.
35-12.
I don't think so. But
History repeats itself.
the
How
receivers.
far off do you think the Giants are? Let me ask you that.
I think this year's, like you said, a developmental year. I think next year's the year where the Giants are back, they make their mark, and they make the playoffs. And I think 2 or 3 from years now, we're a serious Super Bowl contender with Daniel Jones still in his rookie contract and a very young defense and a lot of good playmakers around him. I think it's a 2 to 3 year window where we'll be back to Super Bowl contention. I don't think it's really that far away. With Daniel Jones on his rookie contract, a lot of money next year to spend on the defense.
he thinks they're going all the way this year.
No,
I'm just playing. I'm only playing.
but I do.
I agree with Sean. I think.
But the Cardinals have looked a
next
lot
couple
better the
years.
past couple of weeks. I do agree with you. Well, I don't think it's really a mismatch either way, but I think that the Giants have a very slight advantage. Definitely not by much.
I guess my thing is
I can see where
I
you're
haven't
coming
seen any defense slow Kyler Murray down.
Yeah.
And again, by virtue of following Kyler, I've noticed, what a great year Fitzgerald's had, and Johnson's a beast. I haven't seen anyone, including the Seahawks, who they were in a shootout with. I haven't seen anybody slow these guys down, and so my thought is, can this young, developing Giants defense seriously slow them down?
Yeah.
And look, Arizona's pass rush is good, and the Giants' offensive line is good. That's probably going to be the matchup of the week. Is to see how that goes. But if they're getting pressure, or they're able to get to Daniel Jones, or able to cause him to not throw the ball as well as he can, that, again, with Peterson back, that secondary could find some opportunities, and just like that, you'd be in some big trouble. I would love to see the Giants put together a great game on defense and have the offense play well, and it sounds like if everybody's back, it would be great to see this team healthy with all the weapons and against what I think is a fairly similar opponent. You know what I mean? Yeah. It would be good to see them healthy. All things could go head to head and see exactly where they are. Because the more I watch Tampa, the more I think I just can't get a read on that. And I don't know if that was, again, especially the way things happened. Was it just good fortune that the Giants had to win a game and that was going to be one of them? Or are these, so I think games like these are important just to see where you're at, especially with a team with another rookie quarterback.
Yep.
I believe the only quarterback taken ahead of Jones, correct? Yeah, so there you go. Hilarious.
All right. Let's get into picks then.
Hold on 1 second. Just think about this, because, I think you're an exception to the rule, but how did you feel about the draft of Jones on draft day?
On draft day, I hated it.
Hated it. I hated it.
I was okay with it.
I remember you and I talked when it happened. I remember you actually sort of. You came at me with the talking points for Daniel Jones, and I was like, that sounds like a lot of we'll see.
Yeah, I started to fall into that soon after just because, he played Duke football, and not a lot of people are going to look into that. So once I actually looked at that, he had one of the worst O-lines in the country. His receivers led the league led the nation in drops last year. It just shows that he can do it. It's just he didn't have a lot around him to help.
This guy knew. You knew.
Yeah.
And now this week, 1 versus 6. This is a pretty big hype matchup to see who's the best rookie quarterback in the NFL. This could determine it. This could pretty much, if Jones wins this game, he makes Gettleman look like a genius for picking him 6th.
See,
at least for the week. That's all. Time will tell, obviously, but for the week, if he can beat Kyler Murray, he's going to make Dave Gettleman, people are going to be like, maybe the Cardinals should have taken him number 1.
I
That's
think
going to be the talk if he wins. If he loses...
No, you got a point.
I think the big thing between Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones is Gettleman's guy. Kyler Murray is the actual coach, Cliff Kingsbury's guy.
Right.
Yep.
The air raid offense, that's where Kyler Murray came from. The air raid, Cliff Kingsbury is the first air raid coach in the NFL. So it's all focused around, that's his guy. That's who he wants to run his offense. Pat Shurmur, I don't want to make this me just talking crap about Pat Shurmur, but as in that last game, it did not look like Pat Shurmur's offense and Daniel Jones worked too well. I know that Daniel Jones is Gettleman's guy because the Eli Manning camp and he's got this good relations or whatever, but you need to find a coach that works with that. And I think that is where the Cardinals have succeeded. So, but I love the Giants too much to pick So let's talk picks. Week 6, both me and Sean were 8-6. Joe 7-7. 500.
My worst week of the year.
Yeah.
Still haven't gone under 500 in a week, so I'm proud of that.
All right, and then for total records, I'm 57, 34-1. Joe 53, 38-1. Sean coming back 49, 42-1. Starting to get close.
Chipping away. It's chipping away.
I'm coming.
And like I just said, let's start off with the Cardinals at the Giants. I can't pick against the Giants ever.
Gotta go Giants this week. I feel like any week that they have a winnable matchup, I feel like I got to go with the Giants. And this week, I'm not just saying that just because they're favored, but I really do think that they have an opportunity to go. With Saquon and Ingram practicing today, hopefully they get both of them back. I don't expect Shep back just because of concussion, but having them two back will be a huge plus from last week. We'll actually get some separation against the DB and against a much worse secondary. So, I think that it is a very close game because I do expect Kyler Murray to play well as well. But I think it's a shootout, high-scoring battle to the end, and Giants pull it out late.
If the Giants win, somebody loses in the Cowboys-Eagles game, and the Giants are 1 game back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it would obviously give everybody hope for maybe. I think the Giants will not even make that enter into our minds because the Cardinals are going to win the game. The Cardinals have consistently scored around 30 points, and I believe the Giants have achieved that once. So you're going to have to score a lot if you're going to beat the Cardinals, and so far I haven't seen it.
All right. And then
that's a fair point.
Yeah. I think the defense will step it up, though. Then Thursday night football, Chiefs at Broncos.
Who called the Chiefs losing at home for a second week in a row?
This guy.
Yeah.
Good call.
I knew it.
Got to tip the cap.
And now they're going to beat the Broncos this week.
Yeah. It's tough to play in Denver, but they're mad.
3 in a row? Could the Chiefs lose 3 in a row?
There's no way. No way. I'm picking the Chiefs to just explode here.
Sean's on the fence.
I wrote down Chiefs originally, but it is tough to play in Mile High. The Broncos have won 2 straight. They've been around all those games that they lost. Chiefs have struggled. The O-line looks terrible right now. Patty's a little banged up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Broncos this week. Try and get the comeback going. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. How about you? What are you doing somewhere? There, Jace?
Chiefs, easy. It may be,
He's like no-brainer.
It may be tough to
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You may get tired, but throwing the football is easy when it's higher altitude.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Patty Mahomes loves
3 in a row. Come on.
Cowboys and Rams just lost 3 in a row, so I mean, it's not impossible.
You're right.
So I don't know. I just got a feeling. I'm going Broncos.
Okay. Then speaking of the Rams, they go to Atlanta to face the Falcons. Falcons lost to the Cardinals last week. Falcons
Yikes.
Heavily struggling. So are the Rams, though. But I picked the Rams to bounce back on the road, get it done. They just picked up Jalen Ramsey for 2 future first-round picks. They traded away Marcus Peters to the Ravens. I like the Jalen Ramsey pickup. I don't think he's going to play this week, but I fully expect the Rams to bounce back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with Ramsey not playing this week and trading away Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib to IR, they're not going to have any corners out there. So, and the Falcons' offense is very good. And I'm not going to pick the Falcons here, but I do think it will be a very, very high, like in the high 30s, low 40s game, because there's just not going to be a lot of defense being played in this game. But I do expect the Rams to win this one.
I do as well. Jared Goff, man, every week he blows me away. Every week where I think this guy's not that good, he goes out and throws for like 400 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and I believe he's going to, despite the fact that the Falcons are pretty weak at the corner, or that the Rams are weak at corner. I don't know. Something's wrong with the Falcons, and I just think it continues at home, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then AFC East battle as Fitzpatrick takes over for Josh Rosen as the Dolphins go to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Dolphins had their closest game last week, losing by 1 point to the Redskins. That's the closest game they're going to have all season. The Bills are going to destroy them.
Somebody said they went for Tua on that last play.
Yeah, that's a 2-point conversion. Yeah,
they went for Tua. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bills is a pretty easy one in this one. The only thing I'm just interested to see if the Dolphins could even score a touchdown against this great defense. Yeah. That's really all I'm looking out for. But yeah, Bills are an easy pick in this one.
I think Fitzmagic is going to make an appearance, but it's not going to be this week against the Buffalo Bills, unfortunately, who are way too good a team. And the Dolphins. The 72 Dolphins probably couldn't win in Buffalo. You know what I mean? It would be tough. I think they did, but it's tough. This team's never going to do it.
Well, it is a revenge game for Fitzpatrick, though. So.
Although there's a lot of games that are revenge games for Fitzpatrick. He's got like 8. Yeah, right? Pretty much anywhere he goes, there's a revenge game.
All right, and then going from one terrible team to another, the Bengals host the Jaguars. Minshew Mania continues in Cincinnati.
Does it?
Jags get it done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my guy's been quiet the past couple weeks, but especially last week he had a rough game. But yeah, I think they bounce back this week. Bengals just everywhere. They just, I mean, there's nowhere that gives them hope. AJ Green's still out. Joe Mixon's had a terrible year. Andy Dalton has never been the option at quarterback. Defense is terrible. So, yeah, I think that, I mean, it'll probably be a tight game because the Bengals have been in tight games. They played the Ravens actually decently. But, yeah, I think that the Jags will pull this one out.
I'm no longer I you know, in my fantasy league, I had Minshew on my watch list. I took him off this week.
Yeah,
I did. He's not even worth a watch at this point, and there's not much else left out there. The Bengals can't lose every game. I think this is the week where the Bengals gonna get one of them rare wins. This would be one of 2 or 3 they win this year, but I think they're gonna finally get one.
Yeah, I was going back and forth too, but I don't trust that Bengals defense.
You know what? You know why I decided to do it? Because I thought a lot about it, and I was like, nah, that's stupid. And then I thought that this whole season's been stupid. Yeah. So it makes more sense that would happen.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it. Which is the same reason why I said the Chiefs were going to lose at home again. Because it's been that kind of year where stupid stuff keeps happening.
Yeah. Hopefully it keeps going with their third straight loss.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we'll see.
Sometimes you just got to go with the gut.
Yep.
Vikings at Lions, NFC North matchup. Talking about the refs earlier, the Monday night game, Packers against the Lions, it was atrocious what the refs did to the Lions. Like, as someone who played defensive line, when you get separation and they're calling you hands to the face, that is just insane. It honestly makes me physically ill because that was phenomenal defense by Trey Flowers, and the refs kept calling a flag. It was stupid. The NFL had to make a statement about how bad those calls were. That was ridiculous. Lions are going to bounce back at home and beat the Vikings. I like the Lions a lot this year.
Yeah, I was just as angry as you because I picked the Lions last week, and I mean that the game just basically got robbed from them. On top of the two hands to the face, a couple other very bad calls. But for the Vikings Lions this week, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs have finally started to get going a little bit, but that's against the Eagles and Giants secondary the past 2 weeks. Eagles probably the worst secondary in the league. So, and against a very good Lions defense that's pissed off after a game that's taken from them at home, I think that they come out in a pretty low scoring brawl. I think that they pull it out against the Vikings.
What do I think about Kirk Cousins?
You don't like him?
Stinks.
Come on, what's the word? He's a bum.
All right, yeah.
He's had a couple of wins. Been riding high. I went against him last week, and I'm going to do it again this week. The Lions are for real.
They are.
They really are. This is a good team, and this has been a really weird NFL season. But the worse than the results of these games has been obviously the penalties. You guys see where Barry Sanders kind of spoke out on Twitter? He never does that. Yeah, he was like, "What's going on, NFL? Like, get it
never
together."
Opens his mouth.
Oh yeah, they were like, people were like, "Wow, Barry Sanders like felt the need to like criticize.
Yeah,
fix it."
That's when you know.
Yeah,
for the no call pass interference at the end of the Giants game, I went on Twitter to see, because I thought maybe I'm biased, maybe that wasn't. But when Stone Cold Steve Austin calls it horse crap, I think
that the golden tape play, that was...
No, he was talking about your prediction before the game.
Okay.
That's what he was referring to.
Hey, I'm still in the lead. I'm still in the lead, though.
Think about how much higher you'd be if you would have gone against the Giants every game.
Yeah, we said this last week.
I got to keep
blowing us out of the water.
Right? I got to keep it entertaining. All right. Raiders at Packers. I don't see how the Raiders can get it done in Lambeau. The Raiders have been surprising, though. They've been doing pretty well. I think after the Chiefs losses, they're either one out or tied for that division. That's insane to me to think about.
The graphic where they post if the playoffs were to start today, the Raiders would be the 6th seed right now, which is pretty scary to think.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can't go into Lambeau and get it done. No.
Yeah, Raiders are much improved, but definitely a tall task to go into Lambeau and try and win that game. I think that the Packers, hopefully they get some of the receivers back, maybe Devontae Adams, and I think that they'll actually win this game pretty big at home.
This could well be the only game we all agree on. Packers, easy in this one.
Oh, we all agreed on the Bills.
Bills.
Oh, I forgot. I meant when it's two actual NFL teams playing. I should have thrown that caveat.
That's a consensus every week.
All right, and then an AFC South matchup as the Texans go to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I mean, the Texans win in and beat the Chiefs on the road. I don't see how they don't go into Indianapolis and beat them on the road. I mean, Deshaun Watson is an MVP candidate right now. That offense is just electric, and they're going to get it done.
Yeah. So we saw what the Colts did game plan against Patrick Mahomes, and obviously they shut him down very well. So against another mobile quarterback in Deshaun Watson, I think that the Colts will pull this one out at home. They've been playing, that run game has been tremendous. Jacoby Brissett has done his part for the most part. So I think that this is probably one of the better matchups of the week. Definitely Texans and Colts, but I think that the Colts will get this one at home.
This is a game I want to watch, and I have gone against Jacoby Brissett all season long. That will stop this week because I think the Colts are going to beat the Texans, and I love Deshaun Watson. He's one of my favorite players, non-giant division. He is. It's right now. Him and Wilson Russell are fighting neck and neck for MVP, and I think Watson even might have nudged ahead. But I think this week, don't sleep on the Colts.
Yeah,
I think people don't realize that's a pretty good team they got over there. I think they win this one. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be close, and I think it'll be decided late.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like this one's going to be another sweep. 49ers at the Redskins. Redskins only beat the Dolphins by 1. Niners have been very impressive. 5-0 now. They're going to make it 6-0. Washington's barely a team.
Yeah. 49ers easily, I think, best D-line in football. Just a bunch of first-rounders, D Ford, Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Armstead, Solomon Thomas. It literally doesn't stop. So, I mean, I don't think I have to go much explanation for this one.
The Redskins are riding high right now. They got to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
Landon Collins, Defensive Player of the Week.
Listen, that's something else. Hate to see that, don't you, Jace? Landon Collins. Stud safety.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, there's no way.
Gentlemen that traded it.
Yeah, Niners by like 1 million points this week.
Agreed.
All right. Then Chargers go to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Both really struggling. The Titans so much so they bench Mariota and bring in Ryan Tannehill. That's like... That's terrible.
Yeah. Your boy Mariota, Joe.
Tannehill.
You want to laugh? Look who I picked this week.
So did I.
Tannehill cannot win a football game in the NFL. I don't think, especially getting thrown into the Titans. They did not score on the Broncos last week. Chargers get it done on the road.
Yeah, this is one of the uglier games of the week. Two teams that are really struggling at this point, but I think that Phillip Rivers is done. I think that he's got to throw the towel in. He just doesn't have it anymore. There's so many injuries on that Chargers defense. They've looked terrible. And they lost to a third-string quarterback last week. I think that they'll lose to the backup quarterback this week. I think that the Titans pull it out at home in a very low-scoring, ugly brawl.
What do I always say about Marcus Mariota? He's also a bum, just like Kirk Cousins. Now that he's on the bench, I'm going Titans, because the Titans always win the games you don't think they're going to win, and no one thinks they're going to win this one, so watch them win it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, they
can't fault that logic.
Tannehill at their QB.
I think Derrick Henry will run.
Just enforce the idea that Marcus Mariota
sucks.
Is a bum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Henry's going to have a day against that bad Chargers.
Yes, he is. He's been outstanding.
Yeah.
He had another huge game. He's huge. They're going to win the game. Watch.
Okay. All right. I shall see, I guess. The undefeated under Teddy Bridgewater Saints go to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears have just not lived up to the hype that was surrounding them this preseason.
Who's their quarterback?
Chase Daniel. Well, Mitch, I don't think he's playing this week.
Oh, no, it's the Tennessee. I don't know his name. He's from Tennessee.
Who? What's his name?
I don't know his name.
Wait.
That's the thing.
For what team?
He's from University of Tennessee. The Bears. I think they're going with, I don't know, though. But
wait, why? I didn't even see that. Is Chase Daniel hurt or something? Or are they just going with him? That's weird.
Chicago fans are calling for this guy. I don't know his name, though.
Yeah, I don't even...
This year has
They're like, anybody except Chase Daniel would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, this year's been crazy with quarterbacks. I mean, Duck for the Steelers coming in. It's just been a mess. And, Yeah, I'm pretty sure a dude out of the University of Tennessee.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Tyler Bray.
Yeah, Tyler Bray from University of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect them to.
Where'd he come from? Was he even drafted? Is he like a free agent pickup?
Probably not. Tennessee football is terrible. So
He was like parking cars. And they were like, you throw a ball?
Undrafted in 2013.
Knew it. There you go.
All right. Yeah, the Saints go in, continue this streak they're on, and Teddy Bridgewater stays undefeated as their starter.
The Saints defense might be the best in football right now. They're playing lights out, and going against this beating up Bears offense, even in a tough place to play in Chicago, I think that the Saints will win this one pretty handily.
Every game Teddy Bridgewater plays right now, he's running out of time. Yeah. And every good performance is that much furthering a contract elsewhere next season and a starting job probably somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's going to continue. I think the Saints go marching on.
Another clean sweep. Then my game of the week, Ravens at Seahawks. MVP candidate versus MVP candidate at QB. Lamar Jackson versus Russell Wilson. Both solid defenses. Ravens, as we mentioned earlier, just traded for Marcus Peters. Don't expect him to play this week. But, dude, Seattle is just way too tough to play at home. The Seahawks get it done at home.
Yeah, Wilson's an MVP candidate. That running game has been great with Chris Carson and Penny. And then that young defense has really came around and stepped up, playing a lot better than I thought they would have this season. And the Ravens really, after that first couple games where they didn't play anyone, put up some blowouts and then have really kind of struggled since. I think that the Seahawks will win this game at home, and I think that the win actually pretty big.
I did sit Russell Wilson on the fantasy team because I'm a little concerned about the overall production against, I think, a pretty good Ravens defense. I still think the Seahawks will win the game, but I think the Ravens will I think Wilson's final numbers for the day will look less than MVP-like.
All right, and then Sunday Night Football, the battle of the NFC East. Who will claim...
I thought you were going to say the battle of the bastards.
Little Game of Thrones there.
Yeah.
I guess so.
No, I was talking about their fans.
Yeah, the worst.
Who will claim the top spot in the NFC East? Eagles go to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. This is tough, but I mean, the Cowboys pass game has been looking really well, and Sean mentioned it earlier. The Eagles secondary might be the worst in the NFL this season, so I'm picking the Cowboys to get it done at home.
Yeah, the Eagles secondary is terrible, but Randall Cobb left the game, or he didn't play last week, and then Amari Cooper left the game early, so they're still questionable to see if they'll play this week. And I really do think that the Cowboys will lose 4 in a row here. I think that the defense has looked really bad the past couple of weeks, and I think that the Eagles will come out in this one and shock the world and beat the Cowboys in Jerry's World, because, I mean, the Cowboys, it's not really like home field advantage at Jerry's World. It's usually most of the time 50-50 fans. I mean, it's not great. So, yeah, I think that the Eagles pull this one out.
I got these two guys tying this week. A 0-0 tie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I thought last week the Eagles had a chance to go into Minnesota and win a football game, and they were not up for the challenge. The Eagles really are struggling pretty bad. They're not really scoring a ton of points. And I think as bad as the Cowboys have played, 4 in a row for a team that's going to win the Super Bowl. Just kidding, they're not. But I don't think the Cowboys are that bad of a team that they're going to lose 4 in a row. I really don't. But you never know with this league. But I'm going Cowboys over Eagles.
Also, we did not mention the fact that they lost to the Jets last week.
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
Well, look,
Jets.
Sam Darnold. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. As that game was going on, our buddy Steve Risser was all up on it, telling me how much better the Jets are when the quarterback's not a no-name third stringer. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, that should just be the way it is. That doesn't mean Darnold's good. It just means that the Jets suck less with a legitimate quarterback. You know, how good that kid ends up being. Again, like with Daniel Jones and Kyler Murray, time will tell.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jets.
But so far, it hasn't been great.
No, yeah. He threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a rookie season, but still, you got to see.
Speaking of the Jets, they host the Pats for Monday Night Football. Pats have back-to-back New York teams. I don't expect a different result. Maybe even worse. The Pats are going to demolish the Jets.
I think that this one actually has a chance to be tight down to the fourth quarter in this game. Sam Darnold did look decent against the Cowboys, and I think that brings a little life to their offense. But I do, and the Patriots offense really hasn't been great this season. The defense has been the one carrying the load. Tom Brady, even against the Giants last week, he had a pretty bad game, honestly. He didn't do much, 1 interception, no touchdowns. But I think that, the Pats will pull this one out late. I think that it's a game up until the fourth quarter until the Pats pull away.
J-E. Don't just kidding.
Don't say it.
I'm just kidding. Absolutely not. I'll be honest. I think if this game was 2 weeks from now, I might because the Patriots aren't going to go undefeated. They are going to have to lose some games. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be something if they lost to the Jets? You know, it would give those disillusioned Jets fans that hope or that win for the season when they finish 5-11 to be like, but we beat the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for the Jets, this is kind of their Super Bowl this week 6. So good luck, Jets fans. I hope you get this one, but you're not.
Yeah.
All right. The Browns, Steelers, Bucks, and Panthers all have a bye. Let's talk some fantasy football. For the top performers for Week 6, the perfect lineup would have been Lamar Jackson. He had 30. James Conner had 30. Nick Chubb had 28. Stephon Diggs had 42.
I played a guy with Stephon Diggs.
I traded away Stephon Diggs last week.
Oh, man. He wasn't getting the ball because Kirk Cousins is a bum.
Yeah, and then he puts up 43.
That's what bums do.
And then Terry McLaurin, I started him over Odell this week.
Good call.
So move. For tight end, Hunter Henry had 30.
Odell had double digits this week.
Yeah, that's
finally.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And then at flex, David Johnson had 27, and the Patriots D had 28. For waiver wire this week, I think Frank Gore, he's been solid. He's in every league almost. You can pick him up if you're very tight on running backs, and especially this week, I think he's going to score he might score against the Dolphins. Darrell Henderson, you saw last week with Todd Gurley being out, he got some touchdowns. He got a lot of touches. The rookie for the Rams, I think he'll get a lot of the workload. Marquise Brown, a lot of people are starting to drop him after the first couple weeks. He's not living up to the hype, but I think he will start to come back. And if he is dropped, you should pick him up. And if you are in a 20-person league or a 12-person league and you are really struggling, you're having to go to the waiver wire every week to fill out your flex or something. Mm-hmm. Antonio Brown is starting to work out with teams and starting to get in talks. If you have him, get him, stash him. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll play. That's something you can do if you're that desperate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so looking forward to this week. I think that for to look who's going to have a big performance. I think that for quarterback, Jared Goff will bounce back, only having 1 fantasy point last week, which is abysmal.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That was the quarterback I was up against this past week. A 1.1. What a bum.
Yeah, but I think that he bounces back this week against a very bad Falcons defense. The game's going to be very high scoring. I think that he's going to bounce back big. And staying in the same game for the running back position on the other team, Devontae Freeman has, after a first couple rough weeks, he's looked really good the past couple weeks, scoring right around 20 for the past 3 weeks, and I think that stays the same this week in a very high-scoring game. For wide receiver, I'm going John Brown, coming off the bye for the Bills and going against the Miami Dolphins secondary. I think that he comes out and has a huge performance. And then Darren Waller, another player coming off the bye, the tight end, going against the Packers. I think he had another quiet week last week, so I expect, and he hasn't had much of those this season. He's been doing really good. I think he bounces back this week and puts up a lot of points.
Robbie Anderson of the Jets had a game, I think, with Darnold back. Darnold likes throwing to Anderson. Mm-hmm. I think he's a good guy to have. I got him in my starting lineup this week. I believe that much in him. Matt Beretta and Tevin Coleman, I mean, that is the offense right now for San Francisco. Yeah. Start one at running back, get the other guy at flex. You're looking at probably a good 25 to 30 points between those two guys. I mentioned it a couple times during the show, man. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a week. So if you've been sitting on him like I have all season, I only gave him 1 start so far, and that one blew up in my face. It was his worst game and one of Russell Wilson's best. But I think this week Kyler Murray's going to be great. And how about Adrian Peterson? If you need a running back, you're desperate. I mean, he's getting the carries. Had a pretty good week against a non-professional football team like the Miami Dolphins. But, I mean, he's still got it. He's still going to get you some yards. And if that team scores touchdowns, good chance it's going to come because of him.
Yeah, some other guys to look out for this week. Philip Lindsay versus the Chiefs. He's starting to get it rolling after a tough start to the season. Jared Cook against the Bears. I like that matchup really well. The 49ers D against the Redskins. I was able to pick them up this year. They were no one in my league had them, which is crazy because they're probably one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, I picked up the Patriots defense after week 2, and that has paid big dividends for my fantasy. Yeah, huge.
And then another one I got. I think with Patrick Peterson being back, they're going to put him. Focus him on Golden Tate, and I think Darius Slayton might have himself a day.
I like
this week. So we'll see.
You gonna put Daniel Jones in your starting lineup?
I wasn't able to get him. Everyone else jumped on him. I put in a bunch of claims.
I have him in both my leagues. I wasn't able to get in one of them, but I traded for him because I needed him on the team.
Just curious, what did you give up to get Daniel Jones?
I'm not going to talk.
Come on, tell us so we can laugh.
All right, I gave up Carson Wentz and Stephon Diggs.
Whoa!
for Daniel Jones and LaShawn McCoy, and that might have ruined my season. But Daniel Jones, all his rough games are in the past. I'm saying he's got a lot of good matchups coming up, so I like it. And Carson Wentz hasn't been great this season. Stephon Diggs is the only one that's really going to hurt me.
Someday on this show, I will tell you about the time I traded away a Mike Schmidt rookie card for 2 guys who I thought were going to be great. I'm not going to tell the story yet. But just know.
That's how I feel right now.
That's how you should feel. I got fleeced.
But hey, I believe in my guy Danny Dimes. It's still early in the season. He'll get it done. That's my guy.
That Mike Schmidt rookie card mint's worth $10,000.
Okay.
Dang, that's rough. All right, that's going to be it for the show. Thank you guys for watching on Facebook Live. You can also find the replay of this on the new YouTube channel, Jogging About the G-Men on YouTube. Check that out. Tune in next week for the next live stream, and we hope to see you there. Take care.